Alright lads, so today we are finally showcasing the new Halloween version of Noel, a character at least from the community poll before the characters came out, the more popular of the two. Now this video was supposed to go out a couple days ago. I'm glad I waited because I wanted to try out in Guild Quest and also in Epic Raids. Wasn't able to do that in the first half of the video, which was recorded over a week ago. And I'm glad I waited because overall my impressions on this character, at least as the days have gone by, has been a bit better. I mainly say that because she's actually really good in Guild Quests, and that's where this character really starts to shine a tad bit. You'll see it in the gameplay. When it comes to normal PvE play, when we took it into IT, for example, she does kind of play like a character that came out a year ago, and she definitely does have some bad things about her, but honestly, I feel like she's perfectly fine, and at least those that are Noel fans, you can have a lot of fun with her, and those that want to get a use out of her, again, you can get a use out of her, especially in the ranged REAPER Guild Quest, where right now she's actually surprisingly the best lead. But why exactly is that? Well, let's talk about her, right? So first up, she is a heart no affiliation character with the REAPER kill ability. I do think a heart REAPER killer was actually needed, and while it doesn't actually feel like we needed a new one because 6th Anniversary Eisen does exist, he is a character, keep in mind, that came out 2 years ago. Unfortunately, due to her damage output, she's not a character that performs significantly better than Eisen. They're kind of both in line with each other when they do play normal PvE content, but at the same time, the way they designed Noel is that she is a nuker, and nukers are still good in Guild Quest. Her Sword Bomb, especially with double weakened defense, which you will see in the Guild Quest gameplay, does allow you to go through one boss really quick. Now what's good about her, what's bad about her? For starters, the damage output. She has Frenzy +1, she does 80% more damage to enemies afflicted with her status ailment, which is weakening and drain, and weakening in and of itself gives you 50% more damage. It lets you take less damage, and of course the drain also does allow you to go back up to full stamina. When you do inflict a status ailment, she gets an 80% SP boost, and overall that is great, especially when you consider the fact that her SA2 is a tracking vortex. That's good, but at the same time it's definitely worse compared to the characters that we have gotten over the last 2 or so months. And that's kind of the problem with this character, is that she's more comparable to a character that came out a year ago, like 1000 Year Blood with Yamamoto, which remember, isn't bad. But last month, for example, we had Kilgay, who has Frenzy +2, who has the SP boost, and also the Rampage skill. Damage output between these two characters is night and day different. So truthfully, I really feel like she should have been given Frenzy +2. It's not that big of a deal, it just means that she isn't really going to age the best as we go into potentially 2024. Additionally, she was given follow-up and also a 20% bruiser. In my opinion, and you're seeing that in the gameplay, it's wasted skills on her. Doesn't really help her out by any means. Very weird why Caleb did that. And these skills could have been something a bit more beneficial, like an increased chance to inflict status ailments. But either way, what she's got is good enough, right? It's nothing super crazy with what we've been experiencing over the last 2 months since the 8th anniversary has started, but it's just good. It's just good. So with that said, let's jump into IT and see how she does perform. Alright then, so right now is a great time to try her out because the enemies in the current inheritance trials are REAPERs. So she is getting that extra damage output, which is what you love to see. Unfortunately though, by the time you are watching this video, the current IT would have switched over, so no longer will she have killer, which is kind of unfortunate. But either way, what you're going to see here is that we're not really going to have much of a problem inflicting status ailments, especially when we do use that SA2. This will be more so apparent in co-op content where you aren't really one-shotting the enemies. I do like the visuals of this character. Realistically, as of right now, the only bad thing about her kit is the SA1. And, you know, I've been over it. The SA1, while it's not as good as a 3000 net beam, it's still a good strong attack, especially with the damage output that she does have. It does hit quite a few times too, so that SA1 will occasionally help inflicting status ailments. And that's kind of what this character wants to do. She doesn't have an increased chance to inflict status ailments, so the SA1 and also SA2 combination really do help her keep that SP boost active, so she has a higher damage output more often than not. And, you know, her stats ailments are still really good too. Weakening and also drain, letting you do more damage. That's a cute end pose. But because you're applying weakening, you're taking less damage back. And of course, you're also constantly staying at full stamina thanks to the fact that you do have drain. So she has a really safe playstyle, right? If we do happen to get burnt, for example, or hit, it doesn't matter. As long as we don't die, we're just going to go right back up to full stamina. You can see that we did get hit. Unfortunately, we didn't inflict the status ailment. We did kill the enemies. But after a few strong attacks, we are able to get back up to full stamina. Would have really preferred if this character had an increased chance to inflict status ailments. And it's not a big thing that she doesn't have it, but considering the fact that she had 2 wasted skills, that kind of sucks. Now, for those that are wondering what exactly is follow-up, right? If we actually push the enemies down, we can hit them with our Night String. It's a good skill, and I actually want to see more characters have it, not SP characters. Because when you knock down an enemy, if you don't have follow-up, you can still hit them with your strong attacks. But I guess it is nice if you do push them back. or knock them down, you can just start instantly hitting them with your nat string. It does feel like a nice quality of life, but on SP characters like Noel, you don't really get to experience it all too much, at least when compared to a nat character. But I will say, thus far, just going through the quick single player runs, she plays quite smooth. Her gameplay isn't really original per se. Again, if you played with Aizen and Yamamoto, for example, Noel plays very similar to that. And in all honesty, that's not really too bad, to be fair. Because at the very least, this does let her clear content. Maybe not the fastest compared to some of the newer characters, but definitely on the safer side. And I think the visuals do add to this character's enjoyability too. I really like the visuals of that SA2. But in this case, we're going to use our Soul Bomb here, just to give us some extra time to recharge our attacks. We can use our SA2 there, and then go up here, use our SA3. Again, feels really strong using that strong attack 3. That then leads us into the final boss, where the SA2 is going to instantly put him down, right? There we go, nice and easy. So yeah, enjoyable gameplay, fun gameplay too. Plays exactly how you kind of expect it to play, right? She's not like a unique character. We've all seen this type of playstyle. And when she does have killer, she performs relatively well. But that's single player IT. Let's take her into co-op IT and really test out this character's damage output and survivability. Alright then, so let's see how she does perform, right? So SA1 into the 2 is going to feel like a good combination. Vice versa though, if you want to use your SA2 into the 1, also works relatively well, right? I will say right from the get-go, there are going to be times where unfortunately you maybe have to use a strong attack or 2 to inflict a stat summon. She's not going to be as consistent as she might have been if she did, constantly inflict stat summons with the increased chance to do so. Lucky for us though, with the Vortex, we can, trap the enemies in place and kind of stand where we want to. If we do get burnt, which we did just previously do, it's fine because we can just get right back up to full stamina. Did inflict the SP boost with our nurturing. That's really cool. SA2 on these lads into the 1. This is kind of an example where you would really want to have that increased chance to inflict a stat summon, because if there's only one enemy left and you can't inflict a stat summon against that one enemy, it does kind of suck just a tad bit. We are going into the next stage though, the boss stage. Now the SA2, if we do save it for the boss, it can be really good against them. Or if we can kill the boss into the SA2, that's going to be really good, because that pretty much guarantees to inflict stat summon. So if we use our SA2 now, it's going to hit right at the boss. And look at that, we can make definitely quick work of the bosses, right? It took, what, 2 strong attacks there to take them down? That's honestly not too bad. If you are playing with this character, you might want to make it so she can be immune to burn. Heart does have access to a Halloween Ruka link, which this Noel can definitely make use of. You don't entirely need to, since you can get back up to full stamina. But at least right now, the way I'm playing, I am still standing in certain positions. I don't want to get inflicted with burn, preferably not so. Gonna use our SA3 into the next stage. Didn't inflict burn there. That's fine though. Still did a respectable amount of damage too. We did apply the weakening and drain there. That's nice. And a few more hits from that SA2. Ikaki will go down. There we go. And we didn't inflict the stat summon. That's not too bad. Going into the final stage though, our Soul Bomb should be really good here. Even though she's 1-5, it might go into the final stage potentially. Oh, okay. Just plain nuke. Well, that's one thing that's great about Noel, is that she is a really good nuke. And again, they're still valuable. They're going to be valuable in different reasons, especially with the very hard guild quests. For a 1 out of 5 performance, we did get a close to 3-minute click time. That is again on the slower side in all honesty. That's mainly coming down to the fact that she does have a somewhat mediocre SA1 and the no increased chance to inflict status augments. We're going to try that once more to see if it is a reliable clear time. Maybe we'll just slow there. Let's find out. Alright then, so jumping into our second attempt, then we're going to use our SA1 right away into the 2. Again, you're seeing here, we're not really constantly inflicting stats augments, which you would love to see on a post-2023 anniversary character, right? It's not bad, but what I am noticing here, at least in the initial gameplay, is that we aren't, we're not clearing as fast. We're still clearing relatively well, to be fair. But remember, we do have killer right now. When she doesn't have killer, at 1 out of 5, I'm not sure if you're going to want to really bring it to a quest. Inheritance trials more, so keep that in mind, right? With no increased chance to inflict stats damage, you're kind of brute forcing your way through the quest. If she had the increased chance to do so, if she did have the increased chance to do so, it would make her damage output a bit more consistent. I think she would definitely benefit from dupes more so if you do really enjoy her gameplay. Maybe get her to SP level 10, focus level 10, for example. But going into our first boss stage once more, this is one of the more linear rooms. It's not a bad idea to really nuke it, to be fair. We're not going to. I'm going to say that for the final stage. Because even though while it is true, it's linear, unfortunately, we did take a big hit there, though. But that's not going to stop us from inflicting stat summons and getting right back up to full stamina. I believe the bosses have spawned in. Going to just bring them up here, then use the SA2. That's going to keep them occupied. Let's go down here. Push those back with the SA1. Into the 2. And we are into the next room, no problem. I guess in this case, when we're waiting for strong attacks to recover, the follow-up is nice, but again, it's not really needed, right? Let's push that lad into the vortex. There we go. Push them back once more. Group them all up with the SA2. If the bosses come closer, which I don't think they are, that's fine though. We're going to push all these lads back once more. Go down here, use our SA2 into the 3. So at least against the bosses, we make quick work, right? those bosses go down super quick. Just 2 strong attacks is enough. And then in this case, as already demonstrated, Soul Bomb is enough to nuke the entire room, which as always is still great and honestly nice to see. So playtime there was a tad bit faster, a 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Is on the slower side, at least when compared to the character that came out in the last month or two. Killgate, for example, had like a 1 minute and 30 second playtime without killer at 1 out of 5. But he's ridiculously OP, right? Frenzy +2, SP boost, and also the rampage skill. Maybe I'm getting a bit spoiled with some of these really high tier characters, that this right here, which maybe isn't even that bad, feels bad, if that kind of makes sense. And that essentially sums up this particular Noelle. Survivability is not going to be an issue. Playtime isn't going to be her strong points, at least when compared to some of the newer characters. And her damage output, it does feel a year behind. And that's represented here kind of in the clear time. And last but not least, we're then going to take it into the Cinderella epic raid. She currently is a bonus character. And fun fact, it's actually been a few days since I recorded the first part of the video where we took it into inheritance trials. So in this case, for this particular build, we have the free Toshiro Familiars giving us 60% more full stamina damage and also Berserker. Really good set of pets there that everyone should strive for whenever that pet does eventually come back. And for those wondering, the next time Toshiro should return is at the end of the year when we next get our Epic Raid Challenge campaign. For our build, we're going with this, just a Kamari, Fortification build, and also T-set, and of course also a Tension Tie. And then we have a mixture of full stamina damage and also recharge. In fact, let's do this just to get an extra bit of SP. Of course, she is a bonus, so keep that in mind. We are getting that 2 times damage output, but we are also using it as a test to see how quick she can do around 30 million damage. Now, lucky for us, we did actually inflict the stat ailment, and that's really good. As you can see there, we're already into the second phase. We're going to solve on the second phase. You don't want to use solve on the first phase, since the boss has less HP in that particular phase. Nuking the second or third phase is what you should be doing. Look at that, at 1 out of 5 with the tension time, that's a good amount of damage. And that's without killer 2, right? And then going into the third phase, realistically, all we have to hope for now is to inflict the stat ailment sometime early. Luckily, we were able to get the SA3 off, but we do want to inflict the stat ailment to apply the weakening. Looks like that's not happening. We just got it. Unfortunately, though, the weakening is going to wear off and we got hit. That really sucks. That's perfectly on me, though. We can get back up to full stamina, but again, we don't really have an increased chance to inflict stat ailments, right? That would have been really helpful here in this situation. Let's use our SA2 into the one. There we go. We're back up to full stamina. At least we have some security. SA3. I'd say the third phase definitely slowed us down just a tad bit. What we want to strive for, very similar to Macy, is ideally we want to use our SA2, inflict the stat ailment, and since weakening is only on for a few seconds, we want to make sure we have an SA3 ready so we can instantly do like 90% more damage. There's definitely ways to improve that, but either way, 30 million damage in 1 minute honestly isn't too bad. That third phase really did bring us down there. Let's try that again though. All right, so again, same strategy. We're going to use our SA1 into the 2, then 3. Hopefully, one of these attacks can actually apply a stat ailment. Once it does, we use our SA3. Let's use our Nat Strength just to get a few hits in. SA1. Again, we're going to have to save that SA3, right? It kind of sucks. It's wasting a few extra seconds. There we go. Because once that SP boost goes off and weakening has been applied, we then do significantly more damage. Now, in this case, we're going to wait for the SP boost to go away, like now, for example. Then Soul Bomb. SA2. I think we inflicted a weakening. We kind of did. It's hard to tell because we already had the SP boost active after using the Soul Bomb. But in this case, I'm going to wait for the SA3 to come back before I decide to use the SA2. Let's actually use the SA2 now. We got lucky on the Nat here. That was a lot better. I think a 50-second run compared to our 1 minute plus run. I think we can get faster, but again, it's a bit RNG dependent whether we inflict the stat ailment or not. But either way, I think that's actually quite respectable. I think we're going to end the run on that particular run. 50-second playtime, honestly, not too bad. Either way though, lads, that was the video for today showcasing Noelle basically in every possible game mode, right? We took it into IT, epic raids, and we even tried it out in Guild Quest, which you are seeing right now. This is an example run that I did do in my video the other day. Again, when I started recording this video a couple days ago, it has been a few days since then. I'm kind of glad I waited because my impression and overall thought on the character has improved since then. I still think they held back a bit on this character. Realistically, she should have had Frenzy +2. She also shouldn't have been given follow-up, nor should she have been given Bruiser. Those are 2 wasted skills on this character. The way she plays in normal content, it feels like she again should have been in the game months ago, right? And that's not to say she's bad, she just doesn't live up to the cards that we have been getting over the last few months, right? We've been getting some really insane characters in Noelle. is just a pretty good character. Again, that's not entirely bad, but you expect more when it comes to end of month characters, especially burn damage characters like this. These are usually some of the best characters in the game without a doubt. In her case, you can go without her, you can have her. If you enjoy her gameplay, she's a perfectly fun and usable character, right? One thing I will say though, that she is surprisingly the best lead in the range Reaper guild quest. She really did perform well there, and she was one of the key characters for my ult account of even beating the quest in the first place. Again, one of the main things about this character is that her soul bomb hits really hard, and you can see that in Guild Quest when her soul bomb can almost nuke through a phase, if anything, allows you to go through one particular boss in less than 5 seconds time. And that is noteworthy because the bosses in Guild Quest have a lot of HP. So one thing I will say is that her Guild Quest performance is actually really good, and again, as of right now, she is the best lead for that. Although most people won't see that because a lot of people have 7th anniversary Ichigo duped out, 6th anniversary Aizen duped out. They are better if you have more dupes of them. Not everyone's going to have NOEL 5-5, keep that in mind. I don't even. But if we were to compare those 3 characters at an equal transcendent investment, NOEL would be the best lead, so keep that in mind. She does have that niche going for her, and that's a pretty good niche. Even as a side though, to be fair, in Guild Quest she performs really well because she does have the tracking vortex. She is immune to paralysis. So overall, I've been a bit more impressed about this character over the last couple of so days, but again, understand she does have a few drawbacks. I do feel like Caleb could have made her a tad bit better, and equally, all I mean by that is that she had Friendly +2 as a base, she would have been significantly better. She probably would have been like top 3 characters in the heart attribute. Because she doesn't, she's not the 3rd best heart character in the game. And you know what? That's fine. She doesn't need to be, but it would have been nice. Either way though, that's the showcase for today on NOEL. A tad bit late, but I'm glad I waited. Let me know in the comments below what you like to know about this character. I think she's overall just a solid character. Nothing too crazy, but nothing too bad. Definitely could have been better though. Hope you liked and enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Take care and peace.